Parshas Vayechi, Tavshin Ayin Gimel, Shabbos Chazak. As we always say, as unbelievable as it sounds, we're finishing Seder Bereshis. Seems like we just started, but that's the way life goes. We start, and before you turn around, here we are, Shabbos Chazak, Parshas Vayechi. Due to Baruch Hashem a Simcha this week, we are not having the shiur in our normal venue. The shiur has moved locations. We have to do it at a different time. But Amir Hashem, we hope that it will be posted on Erev Shabbos Kodesh. Very interesting part of this week's Parsha. First going to begin by reading a pasuk, and then we're going to discuss the inyan a little bit. And this is the inyan of the bracha that Yaakov Avinu gave to Yosef, Ephraim, and Menashe. We're going to discuss it a little bit. And I'm going to first quote you the pasuk. Vayishlach Yisrael es Yeminoi. Yaakov Avinu, who's called Yisrael over here, he put out his right hand, Vayoshes al Rosh Ephraim. He put his right hand on the head of Ephraim. V'hu atzoir. Ephraim was the younger one. V'yesmoiloi, and his left hand al Rosh Menashe, on the head of Menashe. Sikel es Yodov, ki Menashe habechor. His hands were crossed. His hands were mixed up. Why? Because Menashe is the Bechor, and the right hand ended up on the head of Ephraim. Vayevorach es Yosef vayemar, hu elikim asher hishalchu avoisai lefonov, hu elikim haroya oisi me'odi ad hayoim hazeh. That's the pasuk. Then we know the famous bracha, which many of us recite to our children. Hamalach hagoyel oisi mikoro yivareches hanarim. That was the bracha. So Yosef, after Yaakov Avinu says that and does that, Yosef tells Yaakov Avinu the following words: Loi chen avi. It really should not be that way, my father, he said, because Menashe is the Bechor. You should not have crossed your hands. Menashe is the Bechor. Yet, we see that even after Yosef said that, Yaakov resisted. And he said, Yodati b'ni Yodati. He said to Yosef, I know my son. I know that Menashe is the Bechor. And Menashe will be great. However, Yaakov Avinu said his brother Ephraim will be greater than him. And therefore I did what I did. How do we understand, how can we possibly try to shed some light on this dialogue and the difference of opinion over here between Yosef and Yaakov? And we know, and we also see, that even with the reason of Yaakov, that Yaakov gave a reason that Ephraim is going to be greater, we see that the Torah still goes and mentions the opinion and the statement of Yosef. Right? Yaakov Avinu gave a reason, but we still bring down the opinion of Yosef, who felt that it shouldn't have been that way, that Menashe is the Bechor. And even though, right, when Yosef said, Loi chen avi, also, the pasuk says that Vayevorech es Yosef. Yaakov Avinu gave a bracha during this whole dialogue, and while this whole thing is going on, the pasuk says that Yaakov Avinu gave a bracha to Yosef. And if you take a look at the psukim, you look at the parsha, we do not find that Yosef was given a bracha. The bracha was given to Ephraim and Menashe. We know the bracha of Hamalach HaGoyel Oisi, that was given to Ephraim and Menashe, and B'cho Yivarech Yisrael, and the bracha that was given that for all the generations of Klal Yisrael, how are people going to bless their children? Yisimcha Alekim ke Ephraim v'che Menashe. And that bracha was given to Ephraim and Menashe. What is the pasuk referring to when it says that Yosef was getting a bracha? So the Ramban, we know the Ramban gives the teretz, which I'm sure everybody is thinking of. The Ramban says that a bracha to a child, a bracha to someone's children, is of course a bracha to the parents. So the Ramban says that's what it means, that a bracha was given to Yosef because a bracha was given to his children. The Or Chaim HaKadosh asks, though, over here, even though we have the reason of the Ramban, the Or Chaim HaKadosh asks, why wasn't Yosef actually, if Yaakov Avinu wanted to give a bracha to Yosef, why wasn't Yosef given a bracha directly to himself? So we have all these complications and all these questions that we have on this entire episode that was going on now between Yaakov Avinu, Yosef, and Ephraim and Menashe. So Nesivos Shalom comes and wants to explain something very, very interesting. He said that the Vayevorech es Yosef over here is referring to something totally different. The Nesivos Shalom says that the Vayevorech es Yosef means that now Yaakov Avinu was giving Yosef, his son, the keys to brachas, the keys to giving a bracha. And that was something which was handed down by Messiah. It went from Avram Avinu, who gave it to Yitzchak Avinu, who gave it to Yaakov Avinu. And Yaakov Avinu now, by Yevorech es Yosef, Zok Nesivos Shalom, he says that he was giving over the keys, the power, so to speak, to give a bracha. He was giving it over to Yosef. And the question is how exactly we see that in the Pasuk. The Pasuk actually goes and gives a bracha to Ephraim and Menashe. So how do we see that from the Psukim is a little bit unclear. The Nesivos Shalom brings down from the Divrei Shmuel the following. He says there's a deeper meaning in the Shevet of Yosef splitting into two Shvatim. And he wants to try to get into how exactly this bracha of Ephraim and Menashe worked. He says like this, in Divrei Shmuel, that there's the fact that Shevet Yosef was split into two. We just think, we always take it for granted. Yeah, everybody had one, each Shevet stayed as one, but Yosef was split into two. Zok Nesivos Shalom from the Divrei Shmuel. He says that the Midah of Yosef's Midah, we know Midas HaYesod has two chalakim. There's two chalakim in the Midah of Yosef. There's the Sur Meirah, there's the Yosef that through his life he had to turn away and stop himself from doing anything bad. And then there was the Asay Toiv. The Yosef HaTzadik was in Mitzrayim, and there's the Asay Toiv, the positive, the doing good part of the Midah of Yosef. The Divrei Shmuel says that Menashe was the Sur Meirah. As we see in the Pasuk, when Menashe was named, the Pasuk says, Ki nashani Elikim es kol amali, right? That Yosef, the resistance to doing bad, that Yosef was able to avoid the Yetzer Hara and anything like that in Mitzrayim, that was the Sur Meirah. That's what Menashe represented. Ephraim represented something totally different. Ephraim was the Asay Toiv part of Yosef HaTzadik. The Pasuk says, Ki Yifrani Elikim be'eretz ani. That Yosef said when he named Ephraim, that even though he lived in a land of Taivas and a land of Tumah like Mitzrayim, he was still able to do the will of Hashem by doing good. And that was the Ephraim. Ephraim represented when Yosef got to that stage, and now it was Asay Toiv. And Zok Nesivos Shalom, this was the disagreement between Yaakov and Yosef on which one comes first. The Pasuk says, Vayar Yisrael es b'nei Yosef. Yaakov Avinu saw the children of Yosef, Vayomer, and Yaakov Avinu said, Mi ele, who are these? What is that question? What does Yaakov Avinu mean when he says, Mi ele? There's a bit of a Hasidic pshat, but a beautiful pshat. The Nesivos Shalom says, Mi ele. Those two words are the letters of Elohim. Of course, with the hey instead of the kuf, right? But Mi ele is the letters of the word Elohim. We all know that Elohim is Midas Hadin. Yaakov Avinu, when he looked at these children, he wanted to know, Mi ele, why are they worshiping HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of Yira? Why here now? He looked at Ephraim and Menashe and he said, these children, they are worshiping HaKadosh Baruch Hu out of Yira, Midas Elohim, and not Ahava. We all know being Oived HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Ahava is a higher madrega. Why Yaakov Avinu Mi ele? Why are they serving HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mitzrayim with Midas Hayira? So Yosef answered. Now you see how the dialogue goes in the pasuk. Yosef answered, Bonai heim Asher nosan li Elokim, Yosef answer to me Eile was, these are the children, Asher nosan li Elokim bazeh. Yosef was saying that these children were brought up in Mitzrayim. And in Mitzrayim, a land and a place full of taivas and tumah, the only way they could have succeeded, they needed yira to always remember that isdim ve'esdayin, that there's HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and you're going to have to pay for every time that you follow the Yetzer Hara. So Yosef answered him, Asher nosan li Elokim bazeh. The reason why they're being oved HaKadosh Baruch Hu with midas hayira is because they were brought up in Mitzrayim, and yira was the only way to stop themselves from the taivas of Mitzrayim. And that is how Yosef brought up his children, and that's how they served the Kadosh Baruch Hu there in Mitzrayim. Yaakov felt otherwise, and listen to this beautiful, beautiful daher, this beautiful pshat in that the Nesivos Shalom says over here. Yaakov Avinu heard, of course he heard what Yosef said, but Yaakov felt, Yaakov, we all know, was the midah of Tiferes, the midah of Torah. And Yaakov Avinu felt, Yosef, he says, yes, you're right. You need midas hayira in Mitzrayim. But if you have the koyach HaTorah, which is what Yaakov Avinu represented, you could be oved Hashem through Ava even in Mitzrayim. Yaakov Avinu felt if they would have had enough Torah, if they would have had enough of the koyach HaTorah, they would be able to be oved HaKadosh Baruch Hu even in Mitzrayim with midas ahava. Because Torah has in it ahava and yira. We know that Torah is nimshal to eish and mayim. Torah has both parts. It has the eish, the yira, and it has the mayim, the overflowing mayim, the overflowing ahava. And Yaakov felt that with Torah, they should have the strength to be oved HaKadosh Baruch Hu me'ahava. And that should have given them enough of a shmira from all the negative effects of Mitzrayim. And that's the reason why Vayishlach Yisrael es Yeminoi Vayoshes al Rosh Ephraim. That's why Yaakov Avinu took his right hand and he put it on Ephraim. Why? Because Ephraim, like we said, represented the Asay Toiv, the Midas Ahava, the being assertive, positive action. Yaakov Avinu felt that that is the way, the true way, and the best way, the ultimate way to be oved Hashem. And Yosef answered, Loichein avi ki zeh bechar. Yosef Avinu, Yosef HaTzadik, said that no, this Menashe is the bechar. No, the first thing Yosef had a difference of opinion with Yaakov Avinu here. Yosef felt that first, before you get to the Asay Toiv, you have to do Sur Meira, the Midas Hayira. So Yaakov answered, Yodati, I know. However, with Koyach HaTorah, even though you have a point, Yosef, the Koyach HaTorah is greater and it will protect you. And the bracha actually, Zok Nesivos Shalom, was to Yosef. Yaakov Avinu was praising the midah of Yosef, that it combines. Why was it a bracha to Yosef? Yaakov Avinu was telling him, Yosef, it's a bracha to you, that with both midas, the midas of Ephraim and Menashe, that's how you oved Hashem. When you have ahava and yira, of course ahava is a little higher, but you have ahava and yira. That's the only one of the shvatim that was zoicha to do it b'shleimus. And that is why the Nesivos Shalom says that that's why you have midah of kedusha and tara. You need them both. One, those are the two greatest midas, kedusha and tahara. You need them both, each one being a little bit higher than the other. And the lesson we have to learn here is that avada, the highest way, is being oved HaKadosh Baruch Hu with midas ahava. But of course, you need both. You need a shleim. The person has to know when to use each midah. On this Shabbos, of Shabbos Chazak, let us strengthen ourselves. Let us grow in our midas, the midah of ahava, the midah of yira, and let us instill that in our children, so the taka, the bracha that was given to Ephraim and Menashe, Hamalach HaGoy Leisimi Kol Ro Yivareches Anarim, should go to every single one of you and all of your children.